this is Steve Seidel.
I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Sean.
I started off playing guitar when I was 17. I kind of always wanted to play guitar ever since I was little. I remember my dad had an acoustic guitar in the closet, and I'd always sneak in his bedroom and grab it. I can't remember what model of acoustic guitar it was, but I played it to death. And finally, I suckered Dad into letting me get my first electric guitar, which I still have.
Beginnings, I started playing music whenever I was younger. Just grew up with a guitar in my hand, basically. Strumming on acoustics, my dad's acoustics.
I started playing music when I was around 3 or 4. My grandpa had this little rinky-dink keyboard, and used to kind of tinker around on it, just play little things here and there. And I noticed that it drew to me. You know, it made me really want to be, you know, in depth with music, and kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Kind of just, it's like a release, I guess.
I started playing in a band back in 2001. It was Azrael. I have a bunch of friends from high school. We got together and we started playing cover songs, just, you know, 80s rock, AC/DC, Jackal, Alice Cooper, Judas Priest. The list goes on and on.
Eventually I switched over, started playing bass so I could pick up more projects, and really enjoyed it. It was kind of the easy way out, I'd say, just being lazy, but after a while I got used to it and fell into the role and really loved it.
You know, I played most of my life on piano. I was into, you know, the 80s thing, Eurythmics and Annie Lennox and stuff like that. And when I moved to Sodaville, I started going to the school there and met Zach and Steve and everyone, and kind of started playing with them, and, you know, really just having a good time.
And I wonder what's beyond the stars.
So I met Rod Schisler through my brother Daniel in 2007, and we just kind of got together and started jamming, and he brought another guy up, and it just kind of started progressing into something more than just a jam session. We went through a few singers, you know, different bass players, but in the end, you know, the final lineup of that band was me, Rod, Jim on the other guitar. We brought Biggin in a couple years ago, 3 years ago, and then went through another singer, and finally we brought Sean back in the mix. You know, I was like, man, he's the guy to go with, and, you know, went from there.
You know, I took a break for a while from music. I had some personal things going on, things that I just really couldn't honestly deal with on my own, and so I took a break from music for a while. And in that meantime, Steve had got together with Rod and everyone up on the hill, and I'd seen him play live a couple times, and I enjoyed their stuff. Their originals were really, you know, really just striking. And of course, I find out that Steve's the one that wrote most of those songs, and it just took me right back to, you know, when I was 16, watching him play and playing with him, and, you know, it was really fun. And, you know, luckily he called me up one day and, you know, said his singer had some hiatus and couldn't really, you know, do it anymore, so he offered me a chance to come up and sing with him, and I enjoyed it. I've always loved, you know, classic rock and, you know, the older stuff. It's just good stuff. But
Bridges Burning started with me, Sean, and Steve just a couple months ago, kind of out of necessity for a creative output. We like to do a lot of odd meter stuff.
How did Bridges start? Well, really, I had this song idea I've had for a while, and got a MacBook and a new interface, and I was really anxious to try it out and mess with some drum loops. And I remember telling Big and Sean, I was like, "Hey, check this out," and they were like, "Yeah, well, that's cool, man. That's cool." And
Steve, he called me up and was telling me about this song that he had recorded in a new way. That he found this new recording process that was really quick and really simple, honestly, as far as setting up the quality and stuff like that. And he called me over to his house and sat in the car and listened to it. And honestly, by about 30 seconds in, the melody just kind of hit me, and started singing along. So we set up a date to record, which at this time I honestly didn't have any lyrics written. I had the melody, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but really no structure or anything like that. The place we record is a really beautiful place. It's also where Shattered Image practices. The drummer, Rod, has a very large acreage farm, and it's mostly hills and forests and stuff like that, and, which I've always been an outdoors kind of person. And I just kind of started wandering the property, and I had the song playing in headphones, and just kind of closed my eyes and let it flow, and which that's how I usually do it anyway, but just seemed like the backdrop really kind of helped push it out in a sense.
it ended up being a song. It was "Send You Home." We Sean came up, and Big One was there, and Sean started writing lyrics for the song, and he never really performed it before, and he just started recording it. And as soon as that happened, I mean, the lyrics just grabbed me, which his lyrics always have grabbed me. And that's pretty much, from my point of view, how Bridges Burning started.
I believe we can make it if we try. Just believe in what we started and why.
Big and I, we started jamming, like I said, 3 years ago, and he's like the third brother I have. He'd plug in a bass, and he's just so raw. I mean, this guy didn't even tweak his amp, and he just turns it on and he starts going. I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. So he's got a really raw sound. He's got a guitarist mind to me, but he puts that bass feel in it, and it's just fat and it's full and raunchy at the same time.
I've played with Biggin for about 5 years now. He's also one of my best friends. Usually hanging out with him at least 5-6 days a week. We've always kind of fell into this clique. When you have a musician that, when you're in the process of writing and still coming on to how it's going to flow inside your own head, and you've got musicians that can see that and sense that and kind of follow along with you, and honestly really just know how you're feeling and how they're feeling, and everyone kind of just connects.
Sean is a very talented writer and musician, and I've always enjoyed playing with him. It's been about 5 years, and just every song he writes, I'm a fan of.
Sean is a songwriter. Every song that he writes, it seems like it came from a piece of my past, what I've gone through, just the concept of what he's writing about. It's just amazing, and he's a wonderful songwriter to work with. And this has been really the first time that we've been able to collaborate, which is nice, because we didn't really have that before the Predicate. And we're trying to push each other and push ourselves to kind of go where we really haven't gone before, as far as sound and ideas and songwriting. as a whole.
So anyway, back to before the predicate. Like I said, I was about 16, 17. Zach said he was going to bring over another guitar player that he worked with at McDonald's. And I was like, that's cool, you know, that'd be good. Give me a chance to back off guitar and sing a little bit more. And he showed up, didn't really say much, but just had that, you could tell he'd been in bands before and knew what he was doing. He plugged in and he spent a few minutes with his knobs, and you could tell he just knew what he was doing. And he started playing, and I'd never heard, you know, anyone play quite like that. You know, you hear guitarists like Slash and, you know, all these other good guitar players that, you know, are famous soloists, and they still kind of all follow that same level of learning, I guess, where you stay in patterns and kind of think inside the box. But you know, Steve, he can take something that's so on time and so I guess mathematically perfect, and you know, it'll sound like it's kind of swaying, I guess you could say, and this gives it's a really great effect. And you know, I've never really heard anybody play guitar like that. I was a little jealous myself. I'd only been playing guitar for about 5 years at that point, but yeah, he inspired me to definitely do some more learning, and you know, almost like keep up the pace, I guess you could say. He's real good about pushing you to learn and kind of surpass what you think you can do. And he's a good teacher as well.
Always get goosebumps whenever Steve starts in on the lead. Love to hear him play covers, but his original stuff is really inspiring.
I guess you could say we've all been through a lot together and away from each other as well. We all seem to kind of fall back into place every once in a while. I'll get a phone call from one of the guys about starting the new project, and it's almost like clockwork. You know, if there's ever drama and everything breaks apart, you know that within a year, 2 years, you're going to get a phone call. It's going to be right back up and running. And you know, that's what friends do. You know, you air out the laundry, you get it all done, and you get right back in it, get down to business. I enjoy playing with these guys. They're all talented. They help me with myself personally, musician, you know, everything. They're just a big part of my life.
You know, the lyrics, you know, the message in a song, in all of our songs, is just trying to overcome all of our trials that we've been put through. You know, I've went through some things in my past that I just want to get it out there, and you know, Sean's lyrics, I mean, they really speak to me. I mean, it just speaks volumes. You know, The Unknown, every time I hear that song, I just start to, I start tearing up, because I'm like, man, I can relate to that. And, you know, it's amazing.
Just kind of coping with life in general. Like I said, it's an output for us, so the worse pain we feel, the better the songs.
Basically, we all live life, you know, that's what we're doing. You know, each second goes by. And for a lot of us, you know, I'd say a good 80% of us don't base our life off of, you know, the next theater performance, or whether or not the Jaguars got, you know, new tires, stuff like that. We're all out here trying to get, you know, our families taken care of and stuff like that. The trials and tribulations that come along with that can be kind of overbearing sometimes, and music is a good release for that. And my message has always been that if I can help someone deal, if I can say the right thing to make you feel better, then I've done my job as a musician. You know, I feel like I've honestly been put here to carry the message of relief. You know, you have to learn to overcome and move on and progress. You know.
right now, we've kind of found our sound and the direction of where we want to go musically. We've got some great ideas in line, in store. We're just trying to work some kinks out, revisit some things. Going to be a lot of different instruments involved. I think a little bit of piano, violin, trying to put harmony, more harmony here, more harmony there. Just want to really make this a well-rounded album for us, something that's real epic, which is something that I've always wanted to do.
So hopefully this is going to grow into something that a lot of people can enjoy, because every time Sean writes a song, I get excited to hear it. I really enjoy his writing, his style, the flow of the songs.
As far as where Bridges is now, I think we're all kind of coming into our own skin. We're doing a lot of experimentation. The stuff we've been posting lately is actually all part of a concept. I wanted to structure an album to where each song played off the next, and say you had a set of 7 to 10 songs and it was all one story, and that's basically what we've been trying to do with this current project. So I don't know, it's been a good ride. It's definitely been a learning experience, as everything is. I love both these guys. They're like family to me, and I couldn't really imagine myself doing anything else. I'll never quit it, that's for sure. And I hope that it grows into something that really kind of, opens eyes and gets everyone down to the roots of themselves. And, as far as the fans and the musicians and everyone involved in this project, it's just an experience to live by, and a way to embrace, I guess.